He was never the smartest kid in class, not the fastest on the field, but every single day he showed up earlier than anyone else and left after everyone had gone home. His classmates called him stubborn. His teachers said he lacks natural talent. But 10 years later, it was him, the one no one believed in, standing tall on a podium no one thought he'd ever reach. So what got him there? It wasn't talent. It wasn't luck. It was grit, the relentless pursuit of passion with perseverance. The quiet strength to keep going when everyone else has given up. The common pain. We all feel we live in a world that worships talent. From a young age, we're told that unless we're good at math, art, music, or sports, we're not meant to succeed. That only those born gifted deserve the spotlight. So what happens? We start something we care about, but quit when it gets hard. We compare ourselves to others and feel like we don't measure up. We tell ourselves, maybe I'm just not cut out for this. Have you ever started a project with passion only to abandon it after a few weeks? Felt like you weren't smart or skilled enough to keep going? Compared your journey to someone else's and questioned your worth? If you have, you're not alone. Angela Duckworth has been there too. She wasn't always confident. She struggled with self-doubt. But those struggles led her to ask one of the most important questions of our time. Why do some people achieve extraordinary success, while others, often more talented, fall short? What this book offers you in Grit. Angela Duckworth doesn't just answer that question, she proves it. With science, with real-life stories, and with the heart of someone who's walked through failure and come out stronger. This book will help you understand why talent is just the starting line, not the finish line. Discover the real formula behind long-term success. Learn how to nurture your passion and your perseverance. Believe that greatness isn't reserved for the gifted. It's built by the gritty. Because the truth is, you don't need to be a genius to do something great. You just need to stay in the game long enough to let your effort compound. And that's what Grit is all about. Key Lessons from Grit by Angela Duckworth. Lesson 1. The formula for success isn't talent, it's grit. Angela Duckworth dismantles one of the most persistent myths of our generation. That success is determined by how talented you are. Instead, she offers a different formula, one backed by science and lived experience. Talent times effort equals skill. Skill times effort equals achievement. Notice something? Effort appears twice. Talent only shows up once. That means effort isn't just helpful, it's essential. It's the amplifier that turns potential into performance. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't apply effort, you remain a raw promise. Meanwhile, someone of average ability, if they show up consistently, work hard, and refuse to quit, can eventually outperform even the most gifted. This flips the script. It tells every underdog, you don't need to be the smartest or most gifted. You just need to keep going when others give up. Because real success is not a moment. It's what happens when effort compounds over time. Lesson 2. Passion isn't a fire that burns bright. Instantly, it's an ember you keep alive, day by day. Most people think of passion as a lightning strike, a spark that explodes into fire and never dies. But Angela reveals a quieter, deeper truth. Passion is less like fireworks and more like a slow-burning ember. It doesn't explode. It endures. In fact, real passion is often boring. It's doing the same hard, unglamorous thing day after day, because you believe in it. Angela studied high performers in every field, from athletes to CEOs to scientists, and found a common thread. They didn't all start with clarity. They didn't wake up one day and say, "This is my calling." Instead, they explored. They followed curiosity. They tried things, failed at things, and slowly discovered what truly mattered to them. Once they did, they committed to it, not for a weekend, but for a lifetime. Grit is about working on something you care about so much that you're willing to stay loyal to it, even on the worst days. Passion isn't something you find once and hold on to forever. It's something you build with effort, patience, and a willingness to stay when the excitement fades. Lesson 3. Perseverance is a habit, not a trait you're born. With one of the most liberating ideas in grit is this: you don't have to be born gritty. You can become gritty. Grit isn't some magical trait reserved for the lucky few. It's like a muscle. And like any muscle, it grows with practice. Angela lays out a few key ways to strengthen your grit muscle. Set long-term goals. Gritty, people aren't just chasing shiny objects. They have clear, long-term goals that act like a North Star. They know what matters most and align their daily actions accordingly. Build daily habits of effort. Success isn't about occasional bursts of inspiration. It's about showing up, especially on the hard days. Gritty people don't wait for motivation. They build systems and routines that carry them through fatigue, boredom, and failure. Develop a growth mindset, coined by psychologist Carol Dweck. A growth mindset means believing that your abilities can improve with effort. It's the opposite of a fixed mindset, which says, you either have it or you don't. Gritty people embrace challenges, learn from criticism, and see failure as a stepping stone. Embrace failure and keep going. Everyone fails. The difference is how you respond. Grit means getting back up when you fall, learning the lesson, and trying again. It's not sexy, it's not easy, but it's how champions are made. Lesson 4. Environment shapes. Grit, especially family and community. Grit is personal, but it's also social. Angela emphasizes that our environment plays a huge role in whether grit thrives or dies. She tells powerful stories of families she calls wise nurturers, parents and guardians who combine high expectations with deep support. These are homes where kids are pushed and loved, where discipline doesn't crush creativity, and encouragement doesn't excuse mediocrity. This combination creates resilient, gritty individuals who believe in both hard work and their own worth. And it's not just families. Schools, workplaces, peer groups, these all impact our grit. Angela observed that cultures of excellence tend to have shared values. Effort matters more than ease. Progress is praised, not perfection. Quitting is questioned, not judged, but challenged. In environments like these, grit becomes contagious. When you're surrounded by people who push through hard things, you're more likely to do the same. But the reverse is also true. Toxic environments, where perfection is demanded, failure is mocked, and value is tied solely to outcomes, can crush grit before it has a chance to grow. So, part of developing grit is choosing the right people and places to be around. And if you can't find them, be the one who creates that culture for others. In summary, the biggest myth we're taught is that only the gifted win. Angela Duckworth says, that's wrong. The truth? Effort matters more than talent. Passion is cultivated, not discovered. Grit can be trained like a muscle, and your environment can either fuel your perseverance or poison it. So if you've ever felt not enough, not smart enough, not skilled enough, not lucky enough, take heart. You might not be a genius. You might not be a natural. But if you show up, keep going, and never give up on what truly matters, you're already ahead of the game. That's the power of grit, and it's yours to build. Starting now. The most striking, soul-stirring moment. In a book filled with science, stories, and studies. There is one moment that doesn't just inform, it pierces. It's when Angela Duckworth turns the lens inward and talks about her father. He was an intense, brilliant man, a chemist by trade, a thinker, a dreamer, but also a harsh critic. And as a child, Angela heard these words far too often. You're not smart, you're not a genius, not in anger, not even to be cruel, but as a matter-of-fact statement, a belief repeated so many times it felt like a sentence. To a young girl, those words could have become chains. She could have absorbed them, believed them, let them shrink her. But she didn't. Angela chose something else. She didn't rebel. She didn't yell. She simply resolved. If she wasn't a genius, she would become someone better than that. She would become someone who outworked the genius, who outlasted the talented, who stood tall, not because of natural gifts, but because of unstoppable grit. And that's exactly what she did. She didn't grow up to become a child prodigy. She didn't win any most likely to succeed awards, but she became one of the most respected psychologists in the world, a MacArthur Genius Grant recipient, and the very author of the book redefining how we measure greatness. The paradox is heartbreaking and beautiful all at once. Her father's doubt didn't destroy her. It planted the seed of grit. And through pain, she grew power. It reminds us of a quiet truth. Sometimes, the words that hurt us most become the fuel that moves us forward. Not because the words were true, but because we refuse to let them define us. We all carry scars, but some people learn how to use them, not to wound others, but to build something unshakable within themselves. Angela's story isn't just about a psychologist proving a point. It's about a daughter turning doubt into drive. And that is unforgettable. A deep and quiet conclusion. Grit is not flashy. It doesn't make headlines. It doesn't win popularity contests. But it wins in the long run. In a world obsessed with overnight success, viral moments, and instant results, grit whispers something different. Go slow if you must, but don't stop. We often celebrate the beginnings, those exciting, energetic first steps. But true transformation lives in the middle, in the mundane, in the hours when no one's watching and quitting seems easier. Grit isn't glamorous. It's the late nights, the quiet persistence, the decision to try again, and again, and again. It's choosing progress over perfection, patience over panic, commitment over comfort. And the best part? You don't have to be a genius. You don't need permission. You just need the will to stay standing. If each day you get up and move 1 inch forward, if you keep going, even when the applause fades, then eventually you will arrive. Not because the path was easy, but because you never gave up walking it. So today, pause and ask yourself, not just casually, but deeply, what is something that makes you want to get out of bed early in the morning? What is a goal you once let go of, but still tugs at your heart when no one is looking? What if you gave it one more shot? What if you chose effort over excuses? Because here's the truth no one tells you. Talent might open the door, but grit is what keeps you inside the room. Don't let someone else's opinion, or even your own past, determine your ceiling. You are capable of more than you think, not in spite of your imperfections, but because of your persistence. And if you don't know where to begin, begin with grit. Let Angela Duckworth's research and resilience remind you that greatness is not reserved for the extraordinary. It belongs to the ones who keep showing up. Because in the end, life doesn't belong to the most gifted. It belongs to the most determined. The journey is yours. The grit is within you. And the time to start is now.